Good morning. As I said, I'm Scott, Scape IT. We have the IT service and support seat. Really simple, the first couple of slides, it's really a who, what and why. So who is Escape IT? Escape IT came about, initially I started a company called Sotec, and a really good colleague of mine, Tony, started Escape IT. We met at a function not too dissimilar to this, and we discovered that we had a lot of synergies in common, and we started backfilling one another. So if Tony wanted to go on holidays, I'd assist him. If I wanted to go on leave, he'd assist myself. He eventually had a gutful of dealing with staff, etc. So he was about to shut everything down, and I went, hey, why don't we just roll everything together, come work for us, and see how it goes. So 2011, we made the jump, and we merged, and Tony's still with me to this day. Some of the great things that enabled us to do was enable some value add to clients. Tony and his guys had some extra skill sets that my guys didn't, and my guys had some skill sets that his guys didn't. Diversification gave us more flexibility with leave. It enabled further growth and expansion. It also gave us, because of our turnover, gave us some strategic alliance with vendors. When we look at, and the clicker's gone, here we go. Escape IT, we can thank Nina for this in terms of really honing in and looking at what Escape IT does. We've got consulting, service support, cybersecurity, managed services, backup and disaster recovery, cloud hybrid solutions and procurement. A lot of that can be mumbo jumbo to some people, but for others it makes common sense. We've got some really cool key guys that work for us. Some of you guys have met them with Garth and Michael, Kim, Neil, Barge. My lad Thomas insists on staying on this slide because of the amount of work he does when it comes to raking leaves, creating things like this PowerPoint, and also shredding, etc. I've got the lovely Paula, who tries to keep all our accounts going in the right direction, and Tony, who continually re-evolves his role and lists himself now as the service director, and then you've got myself. Our partnerships, without our partnerships, we couldn't have the company that we have. ConnectWise is our backbone of help desk, ticket management, the ability to invoice out. Alvic gives us the ability to overview people's networks, so we can see at a very quick glance where there's an issue on anybody's network. We have Scott cybersecurity vendor. We have our Automate, which is our patch management remote tool. Hosting to Go, which we use for all our hosting. Warranty Master for warranty outside of vendor standard management. Obviously our Microsoft CSP solution for all our licensing, and 3CX, which enables us to communicate around the world with people working remotely. It works a treat. Our vendor partnerships, this is a really small snippet. These are all the tier 1 guys. It starts with Apple, Lenovo, HP, LG, Toshiba, Dell, Trend, Sophos, Trend, you name it, we generally have an agreement with them, and we also get preferential service from them. So a key question that we've been asked heavily recently with a couple of key clients that we've met with and taken over is the why. And the why for so many people means so many different things, but why would you change your IT provider? Because your IT provider generally is that person of trust. I've categorised it down into 5 areas. It's lack of service, security breach, poor design, greed, and staffing problems. And when we look at that, what's lack of service? Lack of service can be that lack of process that the company might be missing out on, or it's the inability to communicate. Is it the tech that's too busy to really delve deep enough to find the underlying issue? Or is it the tech not skilled enough? We've seen it recently with a couple of clients who came across as they felt that they were nothing more than a number who were being pushed down the line as other clients received some better support. Security breach is something that you've heard me talk ad nauseum about. We've had clients that have come to us after they've suffered a security breach because an item wasn't configured correctly. It had come out of a box, it had been plugged in, it had been turned on, and it just hadn't been set up correctly. Or the person was using a really simple password, password 1, password 123. Your dog's name, the list goes on, they're very easy. There are various sites out there that you can actually check your email address to see whether it's been compromised. Have I been pawned is the classic one that people generally look at. We have some other third-party sites that we use from the black hat scene that actually gives us far better results. Poor design. What do you think it might mean by poor design? Poor design is the IT company that maybe is really busy and they've gone, oh shit, we're running behind in this area. They've rushed the job just to get it in. Maybe they've had to put an inexperienced tech to just finish the job off. And that's led to infrastructure that isn't quite right, that ends up causing more issues down the track than it's worth. Or simply, from them being too busy, they've just sold you what it is you want rather than what it is you really need. Greed is that other one where we've got a great customer and they still tell us every single time we send them a bill, thank you. They got a ridiculous bill for a 20-minute job that was literally nothing more than a turn it off, turn it on. And we've all experienced that where device hasn't quite worked, have you turned it off and on again? And staffing problems. We see it again time and time again where you have a business and you like dealing with the same IT tech. But because they're super busy, they just keep sending anybody. Or maybe the company's not looking after the technician and the technician has jumped ship. And so there's a constant revolving staff, which means you're dealing with new people, which also means that they've got to get up to speed with your network infrastructure to ensure that they can actually deliver the correct service. Some scary facts. These are the ones I love dealing with. Did you know every 15 to 45 seconds, if you're running a business, there is an attempted hack on your network? And it's really easy. All you do is enable the log files on your router to actually see all those attempts. You should be doing it. How many of you have had friends that have had their emails hijacked? These could be an Outlook, a Yahoo, could even be your Facebook account. And most of these can be secured with as simple things as 2FA or multi-factor authentication. Again, bad security practices. People keep using the same password over and over and over again rather than investing a couple of small dollars in a password manager, LastPass or Dashlane. There are stacks out there, but that way you can get out of the habit of using the same username and password for 20 different sites. You can actually have it set up so that you've got different passwords for each. At the same time, you should have 2FA set up for pretty much everything. It doesn't matter whether it's your email account, your computer system log on. It's generally very easy to set up. And if you're using Office 365, two-factor authentication is literally the click of a switch. Privacy violations. Privacy violations is, do you know where your data is actually being stored? So if you're going with cloud suppliers for third-party programs, do you actually know where your data is residing? Now, for some people, that's not an issue. For other people, if you deal with governments and defence, that is an issue because they actually have in their contracts some mandatory compliance, and that is the data must be stored in Australia. And there's various other reasons there, of which Lucy could probably go into big details about. Most providers are busy. Yep, we all want to be busy because that's actually how we make our money. However, some people, they revolve around just patching. Just patch, just patch, just patch, just patch. It's called Band-Aid solution. And the Band-Aid solution works really, really well until such time that it falls over in a really big screaming heap. And then you wonder why that Band-Aid solution was as it was. Backups, I could talk for weeks about backups. So many people here, I guarantee you, will use a USB or an external backup if they do any at all. And if they are using that USB backup, if I was to ask the question, when was the last time you tried to restore any and or all of that data, most people will look at me blankly. And again, I can tell you some horror stories about firms that have told me that they were backing up, and when you actually look at it, they weren't. 4K a year on average is lost from productivity of aging systems. Now, when you look at the cost of a laptop being $1,500 to $2,000, suddenly actually having a spreadsheet or a policy of actually replacing old aging hardware, it makes it pretty simple to replace and actually make the most out of your business. Our mission at Escape IT, we want to enable our clients to do business better by providing the right technology advice, the products and services that meet their needs. Our vision is to be the premier IT services company of choice for the verticals that we focus on in the small to medium organisations, and to provide the best-in-class technology service to every one of our clients. So what do we deliver? We deliver peace of mind, productivity and stability. we give people networks that last and the networks that they deserve. For some people it might mean a lot, for other people it doesn't until you get the bills at the end of the month. So if we summarise our services, it's consulting, advisement, operational support, and the operational support could be anything from just the standard monthly maintenance of your server and your workstations, right through to flat fee managed services approach. Procurement is actually giving you the product that you actually need, what it is that you want. And the professional services is using the best practice and best practice guides that are out there. And if they don't exist, we'll actually write a best practice based on international standards and guidelines. Most of the time they all exist. So that is it in a nutshell. We're Escape IT. Our quality referrals are always accountants, bookkeepers. When I say healthcare, doctors, dentists, physios, they are absolutely great. Advertising companies and architectural. I'm Scott from Escape IT. Thank you very much.